Good afternoon. Today I'm going to show y'all how I prune and deadhead my panicle hydrangeas. We recently had a really bad hurricane, and a lot of these long lanky limbs are bent over. A lot of the flowers are dead. Some people like to leave these flowers on here, but I don't. And anyways, first thing I like to do is deadhead a few off, so you can see how the plant's going to stand up, because a lot of these limbs are all drooping over with these heavy heads on them. They get wet, and if they're left like that bending over, they'll grow warped, and you don't want them all warped up. You want them standing straight up. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut these heavy heads off, of course the ones without spiders. I'm going to leave that area there for the spiders. I just cut them off right up under the dead flower head. And I'll remember, I think spider, there, she's right there. Okay, when we started to make this video, we noticed a bunch of lynx spiders had made their homes on these. I don't know if you can see her. And she's got her egg sac right behind her. But there's one there. There's one here. And another one right here. And we don't want to disturb them. I may cut the whole stem off and stick it somewhere in the woods, but I like spiders, and I like them being around my plants because they eat the bugs that eat up my plants and damage them. Oh!
It's touched the spider.
I think I did. Alright, here's one I've already deadheaded all the old flower heads off of. You can kind of see how the limbs are going to be laying. A lot of them are standing upright, but as you can see, these are kind of warped, and you don't want your flowers blooming out here because they're all going to fall down. So I'm going to have to cut this one way back. You can cut it, come over here a little bit. You can cut it all the way back. See these buds here? Just cut it right above one of them, because that's where your new growth is going to come out. Right here you can see that's where I cut last year, and these all came out from there, and some other areas right here I cut one, and this is the new growth. And right here is where I cut last year, and that's your new growth. But you want to cut these little tiny limbs off like this, because you don't want your flowers growing on that, because it's not going to support it. And come around here. You want to cut back, like I said, one of these little nodes I'm going to cut way back here. And the only reason I'm cutting these back so early, they still have a lot of green leaves on them, is because of the damage. Alright, and also you can control how big your plants are going to get. I want these things to get huge, but this is warped. I'm going to cut it about right here, so it'll be straight when it grows. You can cut about a third back, will be fine, because all this is going to bloom on new growth next year. And usually it's a good idea to wait longer to cut these. I'm not going to cut all this off, because you want these leaves to give the plant energy to create its buds. Another thing you want to look for is damaged limbs. Like this has got a bunch of the bark rubbed off. Just go ahead and cut that off. That was from the storm blowing it around. Oh, and another thing I try to do is kind of like a rose bush. If you have crisscrossing branches, you don't want them rubbing on each other. So I'll cut this one back. And I'm going to leave this one on because it's got leaves. We're going to cut this one back to kind of shape the plant. Oops. Alright, I'm going to cut this one back because you don't want your plant growing this way. You want everything growing up. This one's kind of over. Let's see. Just kind of shaping it now. Mainly I'm just trying to fix the damage from the wind, it getting blown around so much, and the flowers being full of water just weighted down the limbs. They kind of grew warped. You want everything growing up like this here, so I'm gonna cut that one off. But I'm gonna leave the rest of the leaves on here and prune it a little more as the winter goes along and the leaves fall off, to make sure it gets enough energy to make its buds for the flowers to set for next year. We're in late June, and here are those limelights I pruned back. That is a pile of flooring I have left over. I got to take off. I just did the floors in the house, but you can see these things are massive. They're, golly, 6 foot across, covered in blooms once they turn big. Once they turn white. It's going to be amazing. Look at that thing. It's just beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. They'll get taller and bigger. Magnificent. All right, one last video of them, just I guess a week later than the last one. Just when I thought they couldn't get any prettier. Here's a quick shot of them later on in the year. This is the very end of August. They're pretty good at taking the heat. They've started to turn green. You know, when they start out, they're white, and a lot of them actually starting to turn brown as we get closer to fall. But they're just amazing. Still, I can't get over these plants. They have so many blooms on them. And a dang vine is growing up in this one. Haven't been out here a lot. I need to clean these beds up. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful. Feel free to subscribe and comment below if you have any questions.